So anyway, this is the first of our podcast. Myself, Jay, and Dad's answer over there. And what we're trying to get across here is positivity coming from an addictive background. So all three of us have had problems with addiction in the past, and we're coming out the other side now. So what we want to do is spread the message of addiction recovery and how it's possible. I'm Mick Carroll. I'm recovered now. It's something I don't do. I don't put a time on my recovery because I really don't feel that helps. But my addiction was cocaine. Never had a problem with drink or any other drug. But cocaine was my downfall, and that's me in recovery now, and I've been for a while. So, Jay, do you want to introduce yourself, mate?
Yep, my name's James, JT, from JT Emotive, recovered addict alcoholic for just over 12 years.
All right, Daz, and Daz, you want to introduce yourself, mate?
Yeah, well, I'm Daz, also known as AKA the Dad Dancer on TikTok. And I'm in recovery at the moment, and I've had a few relapses, but I keep coming back and trying. And keep trying.
And that, I think that's the thing with addiction. It's, see, when you do relapse and stuff like that, it's, you haven't failed. Because for me personally, if you fail, you don't try again. You know, from every relapse that we've all had, every relapse, you come back with a little bit more knowledge.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're a little bit stronger. And I've said it so many times in the past, for someone who's entered recovery, relapsed, and then gone back into recovery, I think that's such a massive thing because we know how hard it is. We know how hard it is to go back into recovery because it's not easy, man. And it's just, and that's the kind of message I'm wanting to spread here. We, you know, the three of us, we're all different people. We've got different backgrounds, you know. But we've all seen the light, not in the biblical sense, of course, but, you know, it's better. When you're in an active addiction, it's difficult. It's every day's a battle. And it's not even every day's a battle. It's every hour's a battle and then every minute's a battle. And I don't think people realise the fight that we go through every day. We're constantly fighting with ourselves every day, putting ourselves down and stuff like that.
So just going off what you said there, Mick, about obviously failure with relapse and stuff, for me, it took me from 2005 to 2010, I was constantly relapsing in the recovery rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous and Cocaine Anonymous. Yeah. And I had bouts of a year, 16 months, few months here, few months there, but nothing was wasted. I was learning constantly.
Yeah.
And for me, I was shutting more doors. Every time I relapsed, I was like, well, I can't do that. And then I was like, well, I've tried that and that doesn't work. And until I ended up that in 2010, in August, when I was homeless, I come to the point where there was no more doors open for me. It was either do or die.
Yeah.
And that's how I got back into the recovery.
So would you say at that point, that's the lowest point you've ever been?
My lowest ever.
See, because I've got a theory, it's only my own theory with it, but I don't think we can truly recover properly until we've been at our very lowest point.
I agree.
At the point. So my lowest point was, I wasn't seeing my kids. I was stopped from seeing my kids, not through any drugs or anything like that, just a relationship breakdown. And I remember I got off my tits this night, just completely off into the next morning. And the point I was at was, I was ready to end it all, eh? I've said this to you before, yeah. JT. I was ready to end it all, and I put myself in the bath, and I'm ready. And that was the end of Mick Carroll. I had a razor to my wrists. And I don't know what happens. I don't know whether it was like a chemical imbalance in my brain or I passed out from I had the shower on my head. I don't know whether I passed out. But I come through. And this is the thing. In that moment, obviously when you're off your barn and all the rest of it, then the aftermath of that, your mind's everywhere, right? At my lowest point, when I was coming through, I have never, from that day to this, thought with as much clarity as I thought then. So I've got myself out of the bath and I'm looking at the mirror and I'm looking into my own eyes in the mirror and I'm shaking, my legs are buckling and I'm thinking to myself, is this it? Is this what Mick Carroll's about? Is this the end of Mick Carroll? I'm better than this, do you know what I mean? And I'm looking at, and I don't know why I was so clear in me thinking, but from there, I sat down and I wrote down what I needed to do. Now, you see people on TikTok all the time with 3,000 days clean and sober and all the rest of it. I couldn't see myself at that point, but I could see myself to the next day.
Yeah.
And that's all I've done for, I don't know how long, but I just took it one day at a time. So each day was my day one. And that's how I moved on to the point that I am now. And the point I am now is we're sitting and we all get messages from people, especially from me TikToks. And we're at a point where we're coaching people now. And we're coaching people on what we've done, only from personal experience, from what we've done. Do you know what I mean? And that's the buzz I get from that. No drug can rival as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So that's me and Jay. We've gone through our darkest moments. Do you remember yours?
Yeah, mine. I've had a few, to be honest. It was when I didn't see my daughter. I haven't seen her in 6 years now. And I've been through the whole court process and spending a lot of money. And I was just, the more it went on, I was just dinting the bottle, like bottles of vodka, bottles of whiskey. And I used to hide them, like with my ex-girlfriend at the time. And I used to hide in the bathroom and lock the door and wouldn't go to work. And I was just in a really bad place. And she'd go to work and I'd just carry on drinking all day. And it was like a vicious circle, you know what I mean? And just drinking all the time and fucking using cocaine. And but I did come through that. And then obviously last year I had a few dark times as well, just sat in the flat for days on me.
I think that's important to get across as well, because when people who don't suffer addiction like what we do, and probably got no experience of addiction, you'll be sitting there thinking, well, why don't they just stop? And you can't just stop. It's
absolutely spot on.
It's not a light switch moment. You don't just turn it on and turn it off. Like I said earlier, it's a constant battle from when you wake up to when you go to sleep. The only rest you get from it is when you're sleeping. Do you know what I mean? And that's
out, sleep, whatever it may be. I remember my brother phoning me at 10:30 in the morning, one of my last benders, 2010 in August, and it was 10:30, and I'd gone in this pub that was open, the first pub in open where I lived in Stockport, and it had them round copper tables. Remember them from the 80s, the round copper tables you used to have, and they were all sticky.
Yeah.
And I'm on my pint, and he'd ring me and I'd answer. He went, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm in the pub." And he went, "If you love me, you'll walk out." I said, "I do love you." I said, "But I ain't walking out." Because people, unless you've suffered with addiction, a normal person that doesn't suffer with addiction can't really comment. They don't know what we're going through. They don't, unfortunately. And that's no bad on them. It's just, that's why when one addict speaks to another, it speaks volumes.
You get each other, you understand each other.
Yeah, so I think maybe we can help people realise that they've got a problem. So, JT, when did you realise that you personally had a problem?
I was quite early on. I remember taking my first stroke second line at 19. I drank a little bit, but I didn't really hit anything until I was 19. And I realised very, very quickly that once I had that first bag, I knew I was hooked.
Yeah,
I knew I was hooked, I actually probably realised I had a problem at 23 when I got my own flat in Wythenshawe. And I could drink for weeks. I could drink for a week.
Yeah.
But because I lived on my own, everyone thought I was working and just doing the normal stuff. But I wasn't. I was sat in my flat drinking and sniffing for the week. And I think I realised I had a problem then at 23. But got into recovery at 26.
Yeah.
And even then I was thinking, this is too early for me to stop drinking and using. It took me 5 years. But I was pretty quick. I pretty knew. And I knew. And all Coke did was enhance, because I could drink more, because I used to hate the feeling of being sick and being drunk.
Yeah.
So the Coke would make me just drink more for days and days and days.
Yeah. And yourself, Taz?
I actually started quite early. I was in the last year of school, senior school, and got a job in town, in a bar, collecting glasses. And
do you remember the bar?
I do, but I'm not sure if I should say the name of the bar. Yeah. And I ended up getting involved in drinking a lot there and using cocaine. Before I knew it, I was selling cocaine to the doorman on this bar.
Yeah.
And that's where my route started. I was going to school Monday morning, falling asleep on my first lesson. Like literally falling asleep, and my dad would get a phone call, like, "Your lad fell asleep, this is the third Monday on the run." And it graduated from there. And obviously I'm 40 now, so you're going back 25 years.
Yeah.
And this last year, since January, is when I started, after I met JT on TikTok and watched his videos, and he helped me like get the courage to try and start my own journey. So Yeah, I started early, but it's 25 years of addiction.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And they're 25 hard years as well.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
yeah.
But the thing I take away from that is, at 25 years, you're still here, do you know what I mean? You're still battling on, and that's a hard battle for 25 years, you know what I mean? And you're still here cracking on.
Yeah, well, I'm actually, I'm here, aren't I? I'm still trying, but it's, I can see the change in me this year just from doing these. Yeah, I have had a relapse. But I look at it, like the last 3 months, I've only had 3 drinks. Normally I'd have three, 4 benders a week. 3, 4 benders a week. So the progress is steady, but I'm going in the right direction.
And that's the thing, it's all progress, isn't it? It's all... The progress matters, like I said earlier. It's not a penny drop moment or a light switch on and off.
Yeah.
You've got to trust the process. You know what I'm saying?
I heard something on TikTok. Someone said it, and it's you must fail so many times in order to learn. So since I've heard that now in my head, instead of beating myself up all the time,
Brilliant.
I've just installed that in my head that I am going to fail, but I've got to fail to learn, haven't I? You know what I mean?
See, I think when I first committed to my recovery, I obsessed with recovery. Everything I done was recovery, and I just opened myself up to things like I was searching on YouTube positivity. I'm all about positivity, and I come across a Steve Harvey interview with Lisa Nichols. Do you know which one it is?
Amazing.
Honest to God, and she's crying, and the heading of it, if any of you want to go and have a look, it inspired me. The heading of it is "I am my rescue," and listening to Lisa Nichols' words when she was talking and she gets emotional and she's crying, I related so much to what she was saying that I kind of adapted it to my own story. Yeah. No one, when you're in recovery, no one's going to come and recover for you. Yeah. You have to do it yourself. You can have all the support and anything you can get your hands on. You can have the best of everything, but if your heart's not in it, then you're going to fail. You're going to fail. And I can remember sitting there listening to her words, and she was talking about a boy. Like, I was skint as well at the time. She's talking about a boy and wrapping him in a towel. And she puts her hands on his stomach. She's Jay Larney or something his name is. I'm never going to be this poor again. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm never going to get as low as I got again. I'm never going to do that again. And I never have. Do you know what I mean? And it's even now thinking about it, I'm getting goosebumps. You know what I mean? And that just affected me in a way I didn't expect, and I just opened myself up. I opened myself up to wanting to learn and embracing these things. You know what I mean? So at my lowest point, when I knew I had a problem, so I worked on the doors around Liverpool, and this one night, my ex-wife, would not long as my daughter, she says to me, we need your money tonight. We need your money. And so I've gone to work, and what she's told me is gone one in one ear and right out the other. So again, I've been paid, and I've got a load of Charlie, and I was getting dropped off from work, just a normal night, getting dropped off, and I'm at the bottom of the road. And it's hard for me to say this because this is when I realised I had a problem. So I've gone and I've realised I've got no money. And she wants the money. So basically, long story short, is I've took myself from outside my house, I've took myself down to Asda, and I've filled the trolley. The trolley was fucking overflowing, and I've walked out with it. And thinking I've done a good thing, I've left the trolley in the fucking living room in the morning. Thinking I'm going to wake up to a hero's reception here, you know what I mean? And she wasn't happy one bit. And that's when I realised, when you're putting that white bag of shite, which is what it is, when you're putting that in front of your kids and your partner, that's serious, like, and that's not something I don't like talking about that. But I think the thing is with recovery as well, especially speaking to other addicts, you're just so open and honest with it. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what we have to be. We have to be open and honest. Say, yeah, we fucked up in the past, but look at us now. We're there, we're kicking on, and we're helping other people.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean? So that's it. So that's for that, right? That was got a little bit heavy there, so apologies to that. So have we got any funny stories of being off your
Let's lighten the mood. Let's lighten the mood. So one that's just spring to mind, I've actually done a 10-minute YouTube video on this. I don't think I put it on Instagram as well. It wasn't a 10-minute though on Instagram, but it is on YouTube, and I try and cut it cut it short.
Well, we've
It's
only
quite
got,
long
we've only
and I
got the
can go
studio
on and
for
on
an
and
hour,
on.
you know, so you're
Right.
going to have to kick on.
So, what was that? what are you
I said,
saying?
we've got the studio for an hour and it's fucking expensive, so crack on.
So, I remember I got on a normal bender Friday, and I used to have myself a little bit on a Monday. So I'd be drinking. A lot of time, I was quite I was a knob to be around. So a lot of my mates had said, we don't want to be around you because there was a liability and stuff like that, getting in trouble and whatnot. So I just sat in my flat, drinking and using all weekend like I did. I got up Monday morning, and I used to do this thing I'd sort of come to, and I'd think, right, I remember going to the shop last night when wines were 3 for a tenner, and I thought, if there's a full bottle of wine in the fridge, I'm bringing in sick. If there's not, and I've drank it last night without me knowing, because the flat was a mess anyway, I'll go in work, because it didn't start till 1. And I'd be praying, please be in the fridge, please be in the fridge, please be in the fridge. And there it was, this bottle of wine. I think, right, ringing sick. Got a chest infection, no problem, James, get well soon. And I remember, I always check my bank. I still do it now, check my bank, just in case someone's going to like drop some money in it, like randomly. Anyway, check my bank on a Monday morning, £26,000 and 9p I had. My remortgage had gone through. That I'd signed 3 weeks ago, didn't realise because I'd been on it. And long story short, within 3 hours I'm in a casino, winning. Oh, they say money comes to money, let me tell you, walked out winning. That night I'm in some shebeen in Moss Side. Which is it. Nobody knows what a shebeen is. It's a terraced house in the middle of loads of houses.
Shebeen? No, I've never heard of it. No, it's Manchester.
It's like in a row of houses. There'll be like a terraced house in the middle. Looks like a normal house, but they've turned it into a pub. And they called it Shebeen. Ended up in Shebeen in Moss Side. I think there was me and this girl that were only white people in there. And next thing you know, next morning I've come to, first thing I've done is grab a pint of Stella, can of Stella, big fat line, wouldn't even go up, walked into Manchester City Centre to travel agents and booked a holiday. Phoned my best mate at the time and said, we're going away. You went, when I went tomorrow morning. He's like, you dickhead, I'm working. He had to fake a back accident at work. That night he's come to me, he said he walked in my flat, there was a massive pile of coke on my side, bottles of brandy everywhere, and we ended up in Portugal. Spent 4 days in Portugal in blackout.
Amazing.
Don't know how I got there. I woke up next morning, we'd been on a mad bender, and he was like, I woke up next to him in a double bender and went, where are we? He went, Portugal. I said, how we got here? He went, we flew last night. I went, what? Spent 4 days in Portugal. Yeah, I flew, but it went on a plane.
Can I just pick up on something you just said there, Jay? See, and this is something that I've found to be true, right? You said your mates fucked you off because you were a knob to be around.
Yeah.
Now, in the past, I've thought I can't do that to my mates. Not fuck them off. I kind of fucked them off, but for the right reasons, you know what I mean? Like, I've got people who I can phone up right now, and we can go and we can get on it and we'll be on it for days, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is the thing with addiction when you're in recovery. You can't feel guilty about fucking them people off.
Not
do you know
at all.
what I mean? Because it's for the greater good. And I think sometimes we need to be a bit more loyal to ourselves. Do you know what I mean? When you've got these people, like I say, I know 3 or 4 people I can phone up right now. They'll be in town in half an hour, we'll be off our tits within 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You can't feel guilty for just saying, do you know what, I love you, I still love you, but I can't have you in my life.
Recovery's got to be number one.
Definitely.
100% comes before anything. Because let me tell you, from my own experience, when I've put something in front of my recovery, whether it's family, the gym was a big one. I put the gym in front of recovery, and within 4 months of me smashing the gym and only doing a couple of meetings a week and just doing just enough. I always did just enough. Like you said, you battered recovery when you first got in it and stuff.
Yeah.
I was always doing just enough. And within 4 months I picked up. I was 16 months clean and sober, and I picked up because I put something else in front of my recovery.
Yeah.
It's got to be number one, which is what you've just said.
Yeah. And like I say, my phone can ring right now and I'll ignore it from certain people, do you know, because you know what they're phoning for.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you don't love them. That doesn't mean you're not there for them if something goes wrong. But you've just got to be there for yourself.
Not at all.
So I think it's worth just mentioning how we all connected. How we got to know each other and stuff like that. So we connected through TikTok, through videos. And like I say, TikTok. At that point I was open. I was embracing my recovery at this point. And one of the first videos I saw was you, JT. talking about your journey into recovery, and I sent you a message. You were one of the first people I ever reached out to. I sent you a message, and I can remember word for word, but it was all right, JT. I'm Mick. It looks like we've been on similar paths, although you're a little bit ahead of me. And you replied, I can't remember your reply, but that was a big moment for me, because that was me reaching out to someone who I knew is on the same journey as me, and I kind of reached out as well because you were further along the path and kind of wanted that little bit of coaching and stuff like that, you know. So if we're going to be talking about TikTok, on our TikToks, TikTok is just a fucking fascinating place, isn't it? You've got absolute fucking lunatics. You have. You've got that. One fella who grates on me, fucking really grates on me, is Sobriety Jack. Listen, absolute bellend. Right, he is, but I think the lad's suffering. I said one TikTok he done that really got me, and not many things get me angry these days.
I think I know what you're going to say.
Do you know is it Kingo Piper, Katie Piper?
The ham.
The ham. He put the ham on his face.
I was fuming.
If I could have got down that phone then, as a fucking star.
I was fuming.
You can't. There's things you don't do, and I'll be honest. I know we spoke about this earlier. That guy's mentally unstable. He is, mate. Just stay away. Jack, if you're there, stay away from scissors, mate, because they're not your friends, all right? You fucking lunatic, man. And that's it. But, do you know, on your TikToks, Daz, you on your TikToks, mate, you're fucking...
Hilarious.
Hilarious, right?
You are... out of the three of us, you're the one that brings like the
comedy side of it.
Yeah, but no, that's not in a bad way. That's in a great way, because you are in a group of people. You've all got your own strengths and weaknesses, and I've got to be honest. Obviously, this last month or so, you boys know I've struggled and stuff physically. But how many times do I comment on your videos going, "This just puts a fucking smile on my face"?
I get a lot of that, to be honest. They're like,
because you've got that energy about you.
Yeah.
So
I'm fighting my own battle at the same time, aren't I?
Correct.
But on a daily basis, I'm doing my daily videos, like day whatever. But it works for me, like, you know what I mean? But I try and put a positive spin on it with a comedy side of it, but it works for me, and it's, you know, it's...
I think the thing with you, Daz, is you can be the light on someone's darkest day.
That's it, yeah, because it took me a while. I was getting inboxes. Like I say, I was on day 30 something sober, and I'm doing my journey and I'm getting through each day as I do. And then I started getting inboxes, like people constantly messaging me, and I'm not used to it. Like how I'm inspiring them, and it took me a while to get my head around it, and I'm thinking...
That inspires you as well, though, doesn't it?
How am I inspiring someone else? But now... I'm used to the fact that what I am doing, sometimes when I fail, and I put it up there for everyone to see that I have failed, and people come back even more so with more respect because I've been honest, and it takes a bit of getting used to.
I think that's the thing with addiction, and you're just brutally honest at some points.
You've got to be, haven't you?
You're brutally honest, and you're brutally honest with yourself and everyone else, and I think that's to be admired. You know what I mean?
The more you're honest with yourself, the more it helps you, and it helps other people at the same time.
People can see past the bullshit.
Oh, absolutely.
How many times? I get a lot of, and we spoke about this in the car on the way up. I get a lot of people that will. Oh, I've just had one a couple of days ago. I won't mention names or anything like that. When he said, "You know, I've just told you it was over voice notes one morning a few days ago that nobody knows." Yeah. Not a soul. I've never even met this guy. Yeah. But as we spoke, it's easier for people to look at someone. They can see past the bullshit. People inbox me all the time and they'll say stuff like, "I just know you've been where I am. I can just see you're a genuine, honest." Some people say you're too honest, and say, "No, you've got to be," because it draws people in to get that to ask for help.
Yeah. See, but that's how I come across you, wasn't it? If you think about last year, a year ago, I come across your TikTok page, and I was watching your videos for a while, and it took me maybe a month or so, and I inboxed you and did the exact same thing, and then that's what inspired me to go on my own journey.
On your own journey.
It's just mad the way it happens.
The thing is as well,
and I mean, you got in contact with each other.
I think it's easier to speak to a stranger as well, isn't it? You know what I mean? So when sometimes when I'm home from the rig, as I say, I jump on the taxis. And I'll work, I tend to go out and work early mornings, and I alluded to two lads I had in my taxi, two separate jobs. And one of these lads was obviously quite well to do. And I picked him up on Lower Breck Road. You know Lower Breck Road, you wouldn't put a cat out there, would you? You know what I mean? But listen, good people, but it's just a bit run down, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I picked him up and he's come out and he's got a suit on and he looks dapper and he gets in the back of the car and I'm just talking away to him. I've not mentioned I'm on my journey, do you know what I mean? Talking away to him. And he's almost in tears, this fella. And he's saying he can't, he's got the best life he wants. Do you know what I mean? He wants for nothing, but he can't. And this is talking him to someone's house, some random person's house, just because they had Charlie.
That's
or he
what
had
happens,
Charlie
though,
and they
is-
latched onto him, do you know what I mean? And
We've
just-
all done that, haven't we?
Mate, honest, it's fucking brilliant. When you think back of some of the stuff that we've done,
Oh,
it's
it's
just
crazy,
fucking
yeah.
ridiculous,
It's
isn't it?
madness.
For me, it springs to mind then when you just said it's like, you sort of, that's it. At the end of the night, you latch onto people that you just wouldn't want to be associated with,
yeah.
but because they pull out a bag,
Yeah.
it's like,
They're your best mate.
Oh,
aren't
you're
they?
you're all
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
all right.
yeah,
It's all right until it's gone.
Yeah.
And the same with when you're like, you're paying for it all and then you get all the
Hangers
all
on.
the hangers on and when you've got a bit of money and you're
Done it.
dishing out the money and then they're all round
Done
you.
it.
Then when you've got nothing
You
where
think
are
you're,
they?
you think you're God's gift,
Do
then,
you know
aren't
what I
you know
mean?
what I mean? These all love
They're
me. When
nowhere
they
to-
don't, they're
yeah.
not interested.
Nowhere
in
to be
Just
seen
what
then,
you can
are they?
provide for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So JT, right, coming back to you, mate. You've got you do, you know, would it be right to call it a charity? The Buy JT a coffee.
It's not registered or anything like that, but I do. I just see it as giving back.
Yeah.
I just see it as giving back, and it all come about at Christmas when Gail, my wife, who's amazing, by the way, absolute, she's my complete. She really, really is, and she's also in recovery as well. So the house we live in, it's a recovery house, and it's just. So at Christmas, Gail, my wife, was getting inboxes from people from Instagram and TikTok saying, "I'd like to buy your husband a present. What does he like?" And I'm like, really? It weren't like £10, whatever. Some guy wanted to buy me a £200 pair of trainers for Christmas and send them to me. And obviously, Gail went, no.
Yeah.
So that gave me the idea in January to do buy JT a coffee. And people will go on. Because what will happen is, people will watch my videos or I'll interact with people and they're that thankful. They'll go, what do you need? What can I do? And I always go, just pass it on.
Yeah.
Just pass it on. But some people will go, well, I've noticed you do a donation page called Buy JT a Coffee, and they'll donate £3. That, I must stress, it isn't for me. I have a separate bank account in my Barclays called the JT Motive Fund. It gets saved up and I give it away. Sometimes I give it away and I'll do a video on it where somebody will want a hoodie. You've done it, Mick.
I received one of them.
You've received one of them, so
and I received one from you.
and it's
as
received
well.
one from me. So these, I have my own clothing brand, hoodies, and all it's to do with is, and I've got a little story on this, and I won't go too much. They have positivity quotes on the back, and Mick was the first. So this is an example. Some lad said, "I'd love one of your tracksuits. I'm living on my dad's sofa. I'm trying to get off the drink." Mick pops up. There you go, JT. I've just bought a tracksuit off your website. Give it Luke, he was called. Say that. And I was like, how awesome is that? So that goes on my social media. I have other people that will inbox me privately saying, JT, I've followed you for ages. You've not got £8 so I can get me son and daughter some breakfast in the morning, have you? No problem at all. Send me your bank details. No, it might not be genuine. And it might be going on gambling or drink or drug. But at that time, when I get that feeling of, yeah, I'm going to do that, it all comes out the JT Motive Fund. That's where it comes from. So I do donations coming in. And I just give it back. I just give it out to people.
I think the thing is, like you just said, you don't know it's genuine, but even if it's not, right? Because you've come across this on social media. Someone always loses the wages just before Christmas, and people reach out to help them.
Correct.
And my opinion on that is, I'd sooner be £10 down to a fraudster than let some kid go without a breakfast. Do you know
Absolutely
what I mean?
spot on.
And
I'm going to use that. I'm going to knit that.
Well, it's copyrighted, you know what I mean? 20 quid, you can have it. But I'd sooner be £10 out of pocket to someone who's having me off than a kid go hungry, you know what I mean?
Spot than not do it and think, yes.
Yeah, I think you need applauding for that, JC. I think that's fucking
Thanks,
brilliant,
brother.
mate. So there is, so that's that. I think what another thing like we want to get across is see when you're in active addiction and stuff and coming out, see your mind is such a powerful place. Your mind can be a prison, eh? Now I know we've spoke about this before, JT. I'm big into quotations and stuff like that, and I've got one tattooed on my arm. It says your mind is its own place and in itself can create a heaven of hell or a hell of heaven. Now when you're in your active addiction, that's exactly what you do. You're creating a hell of heaven. Do you know what I mean? See, in our own minds, you become a prisoner. And see, when you're sitting there, when you've been off your bar and you're lying in bed and you're on ceiling patrol and all you're looking at is that fucking ceiling.
Oh my days.
Ceiling
What
patrol.
a place that is,
Curtain
man.
twitching.
Oh my God.
This is the night. This is the night they're going to come through my front door. This is the night.
Who's coming? Who's coming through the fucking
Who
door?
knows I'm here?
You think of the most...
No one's coming
In
through
the
the door.
wardrobe. Who knows I'm here in the wardrobe? Even I don't know I'm here.
I'm in the kennel. No one's coming through the door, but see in your own minds. You're convinced some cunt's coming through your door.
Yeah.
What for? What for? Unless you owe someone 20 quid on tip, you know what I mean? They might be coming.
Yeah.
But no one's coming through your door. But
Half of the things you think through in your head, they never happen.
It's insane.
They never happen.
It's insane.
it's always the worst case scenario as well. You never lie there off your bar thinking, yeah, this is good. Everything's going to be great. Everything's the worst case scenario. It's
Never.
fucking amazing.
And you know, back in the day, there was me and a lad. We recently got back in contact with a few years ago. We lost contact for 9 years when I got into recovery, and thank God we've come back. And I love him dearly. And he used to say to me the next morning, "Why do you do it?" So I was like, "What do you mean? Why do you sniff?" He said, "Because you're the life and soul of the party. You have a line, and you go mute, and you don't say nothing for 10 hours. We don't work, and you sat in the corner. Why do you?" And I just go, "I don't know, but I do because I'm compelled, because I'm an addict and I do it." Whereas he was the opposite. He'd be quite quiet and shy. He'd have it. Boom, he'd come alive like one of them plants in the 80s with the music.
I can relate to you.
I
You
used to
have
be-
a line and then you just mute and you're just sitting there and the night passes you by, man. And
See, I used to be at the beginning the one who would just never shut up.
Yeah.
But then as the years went on, I became the other person.
Yeah.
I wouldn't open my mouth.
I know it's mad, isn't it?
It's mad, yeah.
And I think the thing is, see, when you're sitting there and you're off your bar, you think you're living your best life, and it's a bag of shite.
It's not.
It's
For me, the first... Do you know I used to get, hand on heart, I used to get more of a buzz phoning the dealer. Like Daz, I used to deal a lot. I used to deal a lot. I was always, because I didn't want to dip into my own pocket for my own...
Can I just put this as only for entertainment purposes? He never used to deal. It's just a blind.
It's make believe.
So I used to, because I didn't want to put my own hand in my pocket. So it was always free. It was always there. It wasn't free, obviously, but it was always there.
So see, if we can go back to the TikTok there, right? You've got your For You page and you've got your following page.
Yes.
See, for me, my following page, it's full of just guys like you, and it just oozes positivity. And if I'm having a bit of a shit day or whatever, I go on there. There's one woman, I think her name's Julie. She's from up Scotland way, right? Now, her son's autistic. I've got an autistic boy. And I've learned so much from this lady, right? And we'll probably never meet, but I've learned so much from it. Amazing. And that's the positive side of TikTok, but then you've got the negative sides as well.
Yeah, toxic.
It's so toxic. You know, people asking for money, send gifts and all this, man.
Yeah, I stay clear of all that now. It's as you say, you get, if you surround yourself with like-minded people, like people in addiction or whatever, I just tend to follow them and they follow me. And the more you watch them videos and surround yourself, that's all that will come
correct.
up.
Yeah.
But when you go to the other side and the FYP, then obviously you still get that type of people, but you get more of the idiots. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Yeah, I think
I just block anyone I don't want to be associated with, or anything that's bad for me.
I mean, some of them are funny. You've got some fella he's got a deadpan expression to everything, and he has me in stitches. You know what I mean? As I say, for me on the TikTok, the following page is just a brilliant place to be, because I've surrounded myself. Would you say theoretically surrounded yourself, or digitally surrounded myself in people that just ooze positivity and do nothing but help and inspire? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think. Going back to addiction, that's what you've got to surround yourself with good people who can show you the way. Do you know what I mean?
That's it.
There's a great saying, and quite a lot of my sayings are stuff that, because I'm constantly watching motivational stuff. Obviously, we spoke in the car, and this is the thing why we've done this podcast, because we're all different from different journeys. See, obviously, I'm a Christian, born again Christian, a big believer in God, but doesn't mean I'm right. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't mean I'm right. Everyone's got their own journey. Everyone's got their own way, and each to their own. See, the goal is for me is for people to live. Where am I going with this? The goal is for me is people to live the best life, and if it's substance abuse, to get off the substances, but live the best life. How they get there, if I can help in any way, brilliant. You don't have to do it like me.
Yeah.
The goal is for me is to help you. And I have been caught up in, since doing TikTok, it's opened my mind of, I have certain friends and stuff that will go, yeah, but they're not doing it the right way. And they go, no, they're not doing it our way. Yeah. But they're getting to live the best life.
Yeah.
So what does it matter what way they do it?
Yeah.
Like, because we spoke on the way down, I'm an atheist. Like,
I'm
the same as you, Mick, but everyone's different and has their own opinions.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean this is right, mine's wrong.
That
works for JT, it works for JT. That just doesn't work for me.
I think recovery is very much horses for courses, isn't it?
Yeah,
definitely.
What works for me might not work for you, and vice versa, you know what I mean?
I know people that have got into recovery and they don't do meetings, they don't do Alcoholics Anonymous, Cocaine Anonymous meetings, they don't do anything. They've got a girlfriend, got an amazing job, and smashed the gym and living the best life. Yeah. Job done for them. If that gets you to the goal of living your best life, amen. You have obviously people that I know people that have just gone to church, gone born again, and give up everything.
Yeah.
So what? Yeah. They're living the best lives.
Exactly.
They're coming away for. Yeah. So no, there's no right answer.
It doesn't matter how you get to the destination.
It doesn't matter.
See, I always went, like, the most I've ever gone is like 10 days ever, the whole of my life, 10 days.
Yeah.
I've never got past 10 days. But this last year, since I've done my journeys on TikTok, first one I've done 25 days.
Yep.
Second one I've done 40 days. And the last one I've done 37 days. Yeah. And now I'm back onto 1 week today.
Amazing.
But I wouldn't have been, in my eyes, I wouldn't have been able to do that without TikTok.
Yeah.
Because the support that people give me makes me more determined, and it makes me, I don't know,
something I mentioned to JT before.
That's massive for me.
See, when you're doing your videos, right? See if, and this is personally, when I'm struggling, I go back over my videos of what I've posted.
You're right,
and kind of inspire yourself. Do you know what I mean?
done this the other week, mate. Because I put them in episodes, so I'll have me sober journey one, whatever. The last one I was on, I played it from episode 1, and it automatically just plays them. You don't have to touch nothing, and it go and you see each day, and it just plays at each clip. And I watched it all night, and I sat there and I messaged Natalie on WhatsApp, and I says, I've just been crying my eyes out.
Yeah.
I said, why
watching
are you crying?
Your own journey.
I says, I watched like 37 days worth. I says, and I just burst into tears, crying my eyes out.
Love it.
Because I first time I've watched them back, like in order. And for me, it was like, wow, look how far you've come. And it made me more, you know what I mean?
See, now I mentioned before about a light switch moment. That can be a light switch moment, because at that point, you're probably at the point of relapsing again, but you're watching what you've said and you're watching your own story.
Yeah.
And you think, do you know what? I can't fucking do this, me.
Yeah.
I can do this.
And like yourself, when you talk, you talk a lot into your videos, where I was never a talker, but now I've started bringing the talking side in.
Yeah.
When I watch myself talking back now, that also helps me. It's like a form of therapy.
It's
mad, isn't it?
I think it's called affirmation or something like that.
That's a big word, that, man. I never went to school, me. That's why I sell cards for a living.
I only went the one day, and that was the subject. I'm not even sure that's a word.
I must have missed you all that day,
Affirmation.
There you go. Jacob's coming in.
I took the boy from Nottingham. Definitely went to school, by the way. Definitely went to school.
He looks like he went to school, doesn't he?
No, but that's what you're doing. You're just affirming what your thoughts. Now, I know in one of my recent videos, I'm reading a book called The Chimp Paradox. Now, in this, it tells you that you've kind of got, I'm just going a bit fucking mental this, but inside your own mind, you've got a little chimp that likes to fuck things up for you, and you can train him. Now, I took that book. I also read a book by Ant Middleton called Mental Fitness, and the two of them, in different words, are talking about the same thing. So Ant Middleton says,
is he your army man?
The SAS boy, yeah. He pitches himself on me.
I know what you mean.
But he says it about training your mind to be stronger than your emotions. Now that resonated with me, man. Because the amount of times I've been sat there on a Friday, Saturday night or whatever, and I'm thinking to myself, I really don't want to get on it tonight. Tonight I really don't want to get on it. Half an hour later, go ahead, drop us a couple of grams off, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And what I've done there, I've let my emotions get the better of my mind, because I know it's wrong and I know I shouldn't be doing it, and I know maybe the next day I'm going to let some people down, but my emotion is I want to get on this now. And so from what he's saying and reading The Chimp Paradox, it kind of tells you how to train your mind, you know what I mean? So I definitely recommend both of them books for trying to just mental stability, you know.
Just going off what Daz was saying before, support network is massive. I get a few comments and a few messages, and I'll answer 99% of them back. I'm 2 days behind, so I'm sorry for that. But anyway, we've got, I can't stress enough that you need a support network. People need a support network. You cannot do this on your own, because this is why when one addict speaks to another, you see, so if you take a quick example, my ex-partner, which is my daughter's mum, tried her hardest to get me off drinking drugs. I was with her 13 years and couldn't. I went to my first meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous and I did it for like a month, and I was clean and sober for a month. And she was actually quite upset that she'd been trying for 13 years to get me off drinking drugs and of no avail. And I go and meet these random people that I don't even know, and I stop. The reason why I stop is because they've got experience around drinking drugs and what they did to come off it. So I'm just going to put it out there. If anybody wants any help getting off drink or drugs, and I'm going to vouch for us all here, get in touch. Our Instagram and TikTok hooks will be in this video if Jacob does his job right. So get in contact with us. Get in contact with us and let us see if we can help you. And I was speaking to somebody yesterday. We haven't got all the answers. We haven't. People come to me and I'm dead honest and I'll say, I haven't experienced that. So I'm honest with them and I say, I've not experienced PTSD, say. I haven't experienced that. So I can't comment. But what I can do is I'm a listening ear and I will just listen for as long as you need. Just because talking is massive. And we'll come on to talking with men's suicide shortly.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. I think just being a sympathetic ear is massive. Do you know what I mean? And like, I tell you what I done when I first was serious about me recovery. I phoned a mate who I know had similar issues, not exactly the same, but similar. And I phoned him up, I'll not say his name, and I phoned him up and said, listen, I need the hands. And he started laughing, but not laughing at me. Do you know what I mean? He was like, Mick, I've been waiting for this call. Now, he knew before I knew.
Yes.
He realised before I realised.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And he put me in touch with someone. And that was just, all we do is talk. That's all we do. It's just talk our problems, and I can feed off your experience, Taz. I can feed off your experience. Jacob, I can feed off your vocabulary. Did I say that right? You know what I mean? But we all just feed off each other, and that's all we're doing. We're all only talking. That's it. But it's when you can relate to someone and you can relate to the issues they've had in the past, and you think, I see a bit of myself in that. Yeah. And that's, you're growing. You don't even realise, but just through talking, you're growing.
I watch a lot of motivational stuff, and that's where a lot of my stuff comes from. But I remember somebody saying on a video, it's going back what Daz was saying about hanging around with like-minded, positive people. And the saying is, if you hang around with 5 crackheads, chances are you'll be the 6th.
Exactly, yeah.
If you hang around with 5 millionaires, chances are you'll be the 6th. Yeah. Be careful who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
So important.
Definitely.
So important.
I've got a positive mindset, me. You know, at the height of my addiction, right, I was having suicidal thoughts every day, and then I had to teach myself. To think positively. Now, everything I do, I can get a phone call from work today and say, right, that's it, you're fired. I think, right, where's my next opportunity? Whereas in the past, I'd be thinking, oh, fuck, I can't pay for this, can't pay for that. No, just show me the next opportunity. That's all it is. I'm not saying think positive to the point where you fall down the stairs and you're lying with 2 broken legs going, I go the Aussies today. That's not what I'm saying. No. We can take it. It's down to us how we interpret every different situation. And if you choose to take the positives out of everything, then the chances are it's going to have a positive ending.
Yeah. My mindset's changed over the last 3-4 months, totally.
Yeah.
Totally changed.
For the better?
Yeah, for the better, big time, yeah. Like, buying clothes and buying the kids' clothes and just positivity in my mind. Like, I'm totally a different person than I was to start.
I remember just the other week when you had your relapse, and I messaged you, and I saw the positivity coming back. I said, listen, don't feel like you've let anyone down. And your first words to me were, I haven't let anyone down, and I know I haven't. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's just I've positivity.
Learned, the first time I done it, I was hating myself for failing, because it was the first time I'd attempted it. Like, but I've put it out there for everyone to see on TikTok. And months and months I was thinking and doing what I was doing. And then it took me a while 6 months maybe, of just that.
Yeah.
And then now these last three attempts, it's just totally different for me.
I think the
Totally
thing is as
different.
well, see when you've not spoke to anyone or you've not been with like-minded people who've been through the same journey, when you do relapse, you keep it to yourself and fuck me, you hate yourself to the point of you don't want to look in the mirror because you disgust yourself. Do you know what I mean? And that's not helpful. Now, one of the things I used to do when I'd relapse, I would block it out. I'd block it. And there's stuff now that I can't remember because I was quite successful at blocking it out. Now, when I committed to my recovery, one of the things I consciously done was when I'd fuck up, I'd remember it. And I'd remember the people I'd let down. And I'd remember promising to do stuff with the wife and kids that I'd never done. I didn't forget that. I used that to spur me on to the next. Do you know what I mean? And it's one thing I hate is letting people down.
Yeah.
And I think it stems from that. So I try not to now, but I'm using that last whatever relapse, whenever that was, I used the shame that I had from that to propel me forward.
Yeah.
I don't block them out no more.
See,
You know
I
what I mean?
used to letting a lot of people down over the years, but like this last 3-4 months again, I can't remember the last time I actually let someone down. You know what I mean? I can't. It's good.
It's
Everything's like working. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the mindset's a big thing, isn't it?
The mindset's
Massive.
so important.
And the more you spread yourself around people like-minded, it's for me, it's retraining your brain.
Yeah.
I'm retraining my brain.
See the likes for positivity in that, as well as negativity, they're contagious. Do you know what I mean? So when I'm working offshore, you'd have one guy, say in a squad of 6, one guy if it was raining, we're going out, we're doing this, it's going to take forever and all that. I'd be the guy who'd go, no, this is going to be sound, we'll get out and get it done. Now, I guarantee you, we'd be out for the same hour, right? My hour would go like that. His hour would last a lifetime. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Just because I would put a positive spin on, this is going to be, it's raining. Fucking brilliant, it's raining, gets in. And he'd be looking to throw himself over the side because it was raining. A bit of water, man, you know what I mean?
And that is a prime example of what you just said, Daz, about the mind.
Yeah.
The mind is such a powerful thing. It's so powerful and it can make your body do stuff that it doesn't normally do just by your mind.
Yeah.
Just by your mind. A quick story just spring to mind dead quick. My grandma, God rest her soul, got evacuated in World War II. And they got evacuated to a farm. And when the planes, this is what the story she told me, when the planes had got back over, they dropped the surplus bombs, apparently, in fields. And they dropped it in this field, so the field got bombed. And the farmer said, quick! And they made all the with 2 buckets of water full and run to put the fire out and run back. Next morning, they woke up and the farmer who was looking after her, because they got evacuated, said she would call Betty, lift them 2 buckets of water. She couldn't even pick them up. The night before, she was running with them, putting the fire out and running back. That just says it's all in the mind. It can make you do stuff that your body thinks it can't do. It's all in the mind.
Definitely. So I think that's just coming towards the end of our hour. Now, JT, is there any messages you want to leave people with?
Put me on the spot. I don't really speak very much, mate. You know, of course. Just the whole essence of this, why we've done this podcast, is to get people to talk. Do not suffer. What we're saying before about men's suicide and stuff. Men don't talk because they get that I'm a man, big ego, can't talk, suck it up, macho, did it. It's all bollocks. Because that'll have you 6 feet under. Because you'll get to a point in your life where I know people that have been 10 years without a drink and drug think, well, I can't drink and use. I'm in this predicament or whatever the mental state they're in, and they kill themselves. And so how bad has your life got to be? And it's all down to talking. And obviously, Paddy Pimblett said, we were speaking about this the other day, I'd rather you cry my shoulder for 2 weeks solid than me cry at your funeral. Done. So this is just interaction to get people talking about addiction, because that's our background, but also about just general mental health. Talking in general is ace. So that's why we put ourselves out there. So as I said before, get in touch with us. Click the links that pop up. Mick, Dazzler Daz dancing. It'll do a little dance for you as well, you know.
I think we need to make that happen. We need to make that happen.
And get in touch and talk with us. This is going out on YouTube, it's going out on TikTok, and it's going out on Instagram. So you have no excuse of, it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be everywhere, guys.
I think the message I'd like to get across is just, do you know what? See when you're lying there and you think the world's coming in on top of you. It's not. You know, you can always get by and be sound. Any
Sound, yeah. No, for me, it's just like I'm a normal lad from Liverpool, and it's if you're out there and you are wanting to stop drinking, there's nothing stopping you. You know what I mean? Like you might fail, then try again, and then if you fail again, try again,
Just go again,
and then eventually things will start to click into place, and you'll have a totally different mindset. And just try. That's all you can do is try. You know what I mean?
Also, I'd like to say, if you want to see us do anything like this again, mental health struggles, childhood trauma, or anything like that, let us know in the comments. And
Amazing, yeah, please.
I'm sure we can do this again. It's been absolutely
Please,
sound.
please,
Thanks a lot,
please,
lads.
definitely let us know.
Be sound.
Stay blessed.
And keep dancing.
Lads, that was sound, I think.